Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
This was a Patreon exclusive yesterday. Again, you can join the Patreon family for as little as $1 a month. Help support the awakening. And again, get exclusives that go up on a weekly basis.
And it is super, super helpful for us to keep us going so we can keep doing this work. And, it's really nice on Patreon because we can speak about things and it's not so censored.
Yeah, and we hope that stays the same. You never know in this world. Things are really, really crazy. What does Twitter, right, now X, and that's a big change that many might not realize how significant it was when Elon switched it from Twitter, tweet, to X. Oh, huge. What does that have in common with AI, artificial intelligence? Well, there was actually there's a biblical town called AI. Literally translates to a heap of ruins. And is AI going to lead us now to a heap of ruins? Are we in a loop, a time loop? How about these ledgers? Wait a minute. Why did you say ledgers? Because that is really what they are. Sumerian cuneiform writing. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of these, and the vast majority have not been translated. But the ones that have been translated, again, give us a multiplicity of deities in biblical tales and explain a lot of what's been going on the planet. Yet we have to realize these are written, again, from the victors, and the victors write the history. So even with these, there's distortion. But, scientists, again, historians will tell you that most of these that have been discovered with this strange wedge-shaped writing are literally just keeping track. They're transactions. They're ledgers. They are ledgers. Ledgers. That's really interesting. And so what does all this have to do with Nibiru, otherwise known as Planet X? Everything. This is future forecasters. Many of you guys probably know future forecasters. Great group, very interesting. They've had some mind-blowing hits as far as their quote-unquote remote viewing, prophecy. Why do we think things are prophetic when any of us could tap into these things? It just takes training. Yes, some people are much more gifted than others, and so much of this has to do with your ability to focus. This is Dick, who is one of the future forecasters, and I think this is a fascinating statement that really should, make your ears perk up.
Yeah, you want to hear something really fascinating? Of course. Blockchain, distributed ledger, cryptocurrency predates our current civilization. The ultimate goal.
Now that should be mind-blowing for many people. Many people will understand it. The ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal here?
Of distributed ledger and cryptocurrency is to enable us to have commerce with interplanetary beings. Yeah.
Aliens. Wow. Dick, that was a big one.
It was pretty darn good.
Wow. I mean, wow. It gets me thinking, and I was on this track before, seeing that video of Dick. I've been working on making this video for a few days now. It's been percolating. I made at least 4, because I have 4 here right now, and I want to say I made 6 videos that contained these mysterious X's, mostly in 2018, 2019, that were showing up on houses, on streets, on buildings, everywhere. X's in a circle. X's in a circle. As I put over here in the title, X's in a circle. You see. Wow, does that hit you as familiar? Again, these are videos, and one thing I did notice is, strangely enough, somebody going through Evolutionary and telling us that certain videos are okay to be shown now, and they're all marked private. Now, I had to mark a whole bunch of videos private because we had 2 strikes, and I know they were intent on getting rid of us. So I actually, at one point in time, marked every single video private, and we were with 2 strikes and not able to post. And then I had to slowly go through and release some back out to the public as time went on, and we didn't feel that pressure anymore. But the vast majority of videos that we've done on Evolutionary are still marked private, because we have done thousands, and they've really been intent on getting rid of us for a very long time. And these X's, this is something that feels very, very big. Again, this one's from 6 years ago. And maybe the reason why this one, look at this one in particular, look at how these distort. Is this just, pilots up there doing their X's in the sky and the sun's light coming and, making a beautiful little fractal here on this garage? I don't know. Are these X's some sort of divine judgment signal? What is this? Again, at least 6 videos that we've done about these, and in various places, everywhere from, I remember these showing up in like Detroit and Chicago, but then also showing up out in Arizona and California, all over the country. And I don't know, I do believe it was a global phenomenon. I think there was some seen in Spain, if I remember right. Again, this was all 2018 and into 2019. Well, I just looking at that, right? If you could see this, does that remind you of something in regards to ledgers? Sure looks like XRP to me, doesn't it? Think about this. Look at that. That could be just a coincidence, right? I don't know. It's curious. It sure does remind me of the X and XRP. What do you think?
Yeah, kind of looks like that. I don't know what the situation is with certain reflections, but that really does look like the X and XRP. And where are these things going? I think I did a channeling not too long ago talking about where crypto is going to go, and it's going to be a very interesting form of synthetic energy exchange. At some point, it's going to be in our bodies, and then picking up that they're going to want these energetic exchanges. It's going to be in your body. So it's going to be some type of mimicking of the natural, because when we walk past each other, we tend to exchange energy, whether we want to or not, whether we know it or not. But this is going to add a little something interesting to it. Now, what if the beings that come here, they're not, they can't really speak our language, yet they're going to want some energy? What's going to happen with that?
Energy exchange, yeah, but it's been a one-way exchange with the system in place. And when Cindy shares that was channeled information that we got from the guides, again, which does include the Galactic Federation, which is very real, even though some people want to ignore the potential and possibility, which, again, it is reality, that there are many societies out there, very, very advanced. We've again never been alone the whole time. The control system is not human in origin. So these videos, I had to mark them all private, but then some, I don't remember if I left them private. I mean, these, I think I would have flipped back. But what I was saying is I'm constantly getting notices from YouTube that somebody rewatched them. Some of these videos are 7 years old and have okayed them to be seen now. So, again, something has changed. I do think something has changed big time. And yet, there's this awakening going on. There are good sources that are followed by many, many people that do think we're within 2 years of full outright contact. And that contact is speeding up and getting closer instead of being pushed off. It's going to be acknowledged. You're going to see at some point in your life, there's a very good chance you'll see some beings that they'll tell you are not from here and they're not Homo sapiens sapiens. Stellar, XLM. A lot of times people have said XLM will be what's used by the average people, and XRP will be used by the bigger corporations in the money system that's coming. And in fact, it has been already, the groundwork is laid by so many different countries for XRP to come online. Stellar Lumens, XLM. Twitter, X. You could see, the label is right there. So this tells you, who is behind this. And so, when you look to stellar lumens too, looks like Saturn to me. It's got rings around the planet. That's what I'm seeing. As you see, infrared photograph of one of the gigantic cylindrical objects taken by Hubble in the rings of Saturn. If you're not familiar with the ring makers of Saturn, Saturn itself has been associated with Satan and the adversary. Satan means the adversary. The reality is, again, the control system that's on this planet is in our section of this planet, I should really clarify, is really the same control system that controls many other planets, many other beings out there in our galaxy. It's again a intergalactic, interdimensional conflict that's been underway. As you look at Enki division, you see vehicle. Yeah, absolutely. They've taken over certain areas. They've put their programs into place. Many of the indigenous peoples, cultures around the world. And again, this is why so many indigenous have been persecuted, because they remember and they pass down the stories of when Earth was taken over by this group. And it's really no longer able to be hidden from the masses. Again, the first thing they did really is give us a geopolitical system. They gave us a monetary system, and then they gave us our religious beliefs after that to confine the mind and keep us from thinking that there's anything else out there. Because again, the origins of the system are not from Earth. So, this is another piece of that. The Saturnian system, Saturn at the base of it has a hexagram. And again, there's a certain type of star that's been associated with a hexagram, six-pointed star, which could have a lot of different meanings to it. But it doesn't mean that Saturn is evil, because Saturn itself is a natural object. It is a planet, again, a big intelligence. It is a being, but it's been hijacked by the system, and they use the rings again to broadcast. They are a broadcasting network, and they're sending out signals to not just planet Earth, other planets out there as well, in order to control, again, the minds and the consciousnesses and the frequency level of the planet. That is so key. Not just our planet, other planets.
And well, the good news is that we are changing yugas. So we've gone out of the Kali Yuga. Over time, these frequencies become less and less and less effective. And it makes me sad that, they associate Saturn with Satan, and it gives a vibration that Saturn is actually bad. And don't think that these planets don't pick up this information, just like the cells in your body. If you think bad thoughts, feel bad thoughts, there's no reasoning when it comes to cells and frequency and information. It just is. I see Saturn as a wise old soul, a very, very wise old soul who teaches me lessons. Have they been hard? Yes, they've been really rough. But I have learned, and I've gained a lot of wisdom from Saturn. So whatever it is out there in your life that's giving you a hard time, a lot of times it's just a matter of changing that frequency of your thoughts to bring in a different type of energy for whatever is going on.
Absolutely. So this is, again, part of the clues to the bigger picture. And of course, again, Nibiru, also known as Planet X, planet of the crossing, And then, or planet 9. Again, when you look at planet X cross, you take an X, you put it on one point, and there you have a cross. Again, and so much of the symbolism is hidden in plain sight. Again, the distortion, because they always take somebody that's bringing truth and light, and then they afterwards twist and distort the message and give you another belief system that leads to their control. And this is what they've done for thousands of years. Many people believe, again, this goes back to the Younger Dryas extinction event, which I agree that Younger Dryas extinction event was actually an act of war, when they tell us a comet came and broke up into many pieces and impacted the earth in many places, wiping out so much life, all the megafauna up in North America, but also so much life in the northern hemisphere. Again, this in my mind equates to when the stories of Enki and Enlil were talking about a population of Earth being too noisy and something big was going to come, and the gods left, and then the cataclysm came, the universal flood story. So when we look at it and we think about Nibiru, again, that is planet X, planet of the crossing. So what are they telling us? What are these X's telling us? Are they foretelling the return of the Anunnaki? It very well may be, because it's always been there. We've always gotten that at some point in time, at least some of them will return to those people that have chosen to stay under their control, because you have to choose, so to speak, to stay under their control. And many of us, no matter what we do, we're not going to do something like the choice that came up in 2020-ish. No way, no how, doesn't matter what, however they choose to twist our arm, we won't go down that route. And we do have help, because again, this is an intergalactic, interdimensional war. They can't intervene in a direct, outright manner without setting off a full-fledged intergalactic war again. And yet what we have is the intervention through the means of channeling and through inspiration and through different beings that have given us different technologies at certain points in time. Again, think about Tesla and how his all his wisdom and technology that he was literally channeling, because Tesla was a channeler. There's different ways of channeling, was basically gathered up by the government and swept under the rug because they couldn't have it out here. We'd have no need for fossil fuels. We'd have no need for so much. And yet, it's inevitable that they will be having to share a lot of the technology with us. So signs of Planet X's approach. Yes, I do think that that's the case. Now, it's also, to clarify, many people believe it's, like what Sitchin has given us, that it's really a planet and it makes a certain orbit. It uses a black hole sun, that whole thing, black hole sun, won't you come? Well, Stone Garden they're doing a little channeling too. Because the black hole sun is the propulsion system of Nibiru, and this is also what we've gotten from the guides. They literally use a black hole to move the planet, and it's more of a ship now. Think Anakin Skywalker, right? Becomes Darth Vader, Dark Father. Anakim in the Bible, Anunnaki. It's all right in front of you. It's just so clear. And, thankfully, so many people do understand the bigger picture now. Well, again, planet Nibiru is more like a ship. It's merged with AI. All the people on it are merged with AI. Not everybody is happy about that. Because, many of the people there are just like people here. There are many different species. They're not all tall Nordics. No, you have all different skin tones of humanoid beings, and you have non-humanoid beings. You have reptilian beings, you have hybrids, We have all different sorts of beings that are part of this picture. And when you see, things like lions and tigers, there are beings that walk on 2 feet that are very, very much like that, as well as dogmen. In fact, dogmen battle out there and are used in war in many instances. So, it's really a pretty wild situation. You really have been living in a Star Wars environment your whole life without realizing it. And ultimately, which crypto is going to be the one that gets adopted? I would bet on the X. That's where my bets would be.
I don't know, and you got to look at the Sumerian tablets. Are those ledgers the beginning of a time or an end of a time?
Well, again, with the cycles, the ending is the beginning and the beginning is the end. And think about Ouroboros, which is the snake that eats its tail, showing the cyclic nature of everything. And as we go through the Yugas, keep your frequency high. You know what's coming in so many ways. Yet it's not all doom and gloom, because what this means is this is kind of the last plays. This is all they got left. They can hit us with another global war. They could hit us with some other, situation like 2020. And then tsunamis and great quakes can be triggered. There is technology. Tesla had an earthquake machine that set an earthquake off in New York City 140 years ago or so. Yeah, absolutely. It's all there. It's all written. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Indeed.
Yeah, let's rewrite it, guys. Let's just spill the beans. Let's be the little kid tattletaling. Hey, Ma, see what they're doing? Yeah, exactly. It's all been planned as part of the script, but we know, we understand. And love is something that's totally unstoppable. You can't stop it. And it is the key to moving up and out of the narrow frequency zone in which these Nibiruans play. Absolutely. They're not the be-all, end-all. In fact, they're the dead end. They are the Darwinian dead end. And yet they are also the missing paternal chromosome information, the genes, that mysterious piece to the pie, the missing link. Yeah, absolutely. It's Darth Vader's DNA is what we're talking about. Dark Father, the Anunnaki. Yet we can overcome. And they are even afraid of us pulling their energy up and out of the zone because they're so laden with AI technology. Again, the Bible even has a town in there called AI, which means heap of ruin. That's where AI ultimately leads. Doesn't have to be that way. It's because the system is using the AI. Again, AI can, it's all about what it's programmed for. So if it was truly programmed with good intentions, then, you could actually get good out of it. But it's all about the programmers.
Indeed.
As always, guys, come join us on Patreon. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.